Live from Colorado's news channel, this is CBS 4 Morning News.
I speak for a number of couples when I say that it's hard to hear people argue against us because we are loving and committed individuals that have committed one another.
The battle over same-sex marriage comes to Colorado as the Circuit Court of Appeals takes up a Utah law that would ban the unions. Good morning, I'm Emily Goggins. A Utah same-sex couple is challenging the state ban at the appeals court level. This is the first time the case has reached this high in the court system. Last summer, the U.S. Supreme Court struck down a provision in the Federal Defense of Marriage Act that opened the door for legal changes to state bans on same-sex marriage. CBS 4's Jennifer Bryce takes a look at the long-term goals of this high-profile court case.
These three gay couples came to Denver to challenge Utah's recent ban on same-sex marriages. Derek Kitchen is the namesake on the legal appeal versus his state.
I speak for a number of couples when I say that it's hard to hear people argue against us because we are loving and committed individuals that have committed one another emotionally, spiritually to our partners.
After the U.S. Supreme Court ruled last year that a law forbidding the federal government from recognizing same-sex marriages was unconstitutional, 8 federal judges in all have struck down state bans on gay marriage.
We were legally married in Iowa, and we look forward to the day when we can cross from state to state, including to our home state of Utah, and still have our marriage recognized. Thank you.
If the panel of justices in Denver uphold the lower court's decision, the argument will only be settled when it moves up one more level to the Supreme Court. The Attorney General of Utah told the plaintiffs he is sorry for the pain this legal fight may be causing them.
I wanted them to know it wasn't personal. I wanted them to appreciate that I recognize that their families are as important to them, Ben, as my family is to me.
As gay marriage advocates hope to gain recognition nationwide, the state of Utah fights to keep the definition of marriage exclusive to a man and a woman.
Same-sex marriage is currently legal in 17 states and the District of Columbia. Happening now, a judge is determining if 2 of Colorado's new gun laws violate the Constitution. One of the laws limits the size of ammunition magazines. The other expands background checks to firearm sales won and between private dealers. The lawsuit contends laws are a violation of the Second Amendment. No jury will be assigned to the case since the issue is constitutional. The trial is set to last 10 days. And developing now, police need help in identifying a man who's accused of using stolen credit cards numbers in the metro area. Surveillance video caught the suspect making purchases at Best Buy, Target, and 7-Eleven. Police say he successfully used the cards to make $9,000 worth of purchases. He's allegedly using as many as 16 card numbers stolen from Colorado residents. Police say he encoded the cards in the name of Steve Locke or Steve S. Locke. If anyone has any information, contact the Lakewood Police Department. Boulder police have arrested a suspect for the robbery of Lolita's Market. 24-year-old Joseph Patrick Taunton faces charges of aggravated robbery, driving under the influence, and prohibited use of a weapon. He's accused of robbing the store clerk at gunpoint on April 1st. Police say witnesses identified Taunton as a suspect. Officers picked him up during a routine traffic stop in Boulder. And new tonight, the southbound lanes of I-225 are closed after a hazardous accident. The crash involves a Honda sedan and a semi-truck. It happened south of Iliff on the highway. Crews are clearing away the vehicles and cleaning up diesel fuel that leaked from the semi. One person was transported to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Northbound wasn't affected and is still open. Denver police have arrested a suspect in a deadly hit-and-run. 32-year-old William Pettipiece is accused of crashing into a motorcycle at Alameda and Monaco overnight. Pettipiece faces charges of vehicular homicide, leaving the scene of an accident resulting in death, and driving under the influence. 23-year-old Michael Snyder was killed in the crash. Snyder was an airman at Buckley Air Force Base. At the state capitol today, lawmakers are considering 2 new bills that will strengthen the penalties for driving under the influence. The bills are before the Appropriations Committee. Both are directed at repeat DUI offenders. One would turn 3rd and 4th DUI convictions into felonies. The other bill sets mandatory minimum sentences for vehicular homicides and assaults that result from driving under the influence. Colorado is one of only 4 states that does not have a law that makes repeat DUIs a felony.
It's not a matter of if it'll happen. It will happen. At some point, some family's going to get mowed down by some drunk driver or somebody high on drugs. And everybody's going to say, why is the legislative body doing something about this? Well, we tried.
Prior to the bill, drivers who were under the influence of alcohol were charged with misdemeanors and probation, no matter how many times they were arrested for driving drunk. If the bill passes out of the committee, they will continue on to the Senate. Developing today, lawmakers are taking up the issue of how to make marijuana edibles look different from regular candy. CBS 4's Rick Salinger was at the Capitol today and explains what steps lawmakers are taking to make the difference apparent.
Which of these are marijuana edibles? That's the point. Rachel O'Brien of Smart Colorado went on a shopping spree. She visited several marijuana dispensaries and also bought real candy. Can you tell the difference between them when they're out of the packages?
I want one in some way that when it's out of the package, I can tell that it's marijuana.
Here's a real peanut butter cup and a marijuana edible. That's the bigger one. Note the similarity also with pixie sticks. And here's rainbow belts. State legislators took a look at the pictures as they took testimony on a bill, which would require the individual marijuana pieces to be clearly marked. The cannabis industry wants more study and points to packaging regulations already in place.
It's a child-resistant bag. It's child-resistant on multiple openings as well. So these are for more of the edibles. This is for more of the flowers and the concentrates.
7 children have been brought into Children's Hospital emergency room so far this year.
5 of those 7 patients needed to be admitted to our critical care unit, secondary to severe altered mental status.
He says the similarities with candy can be confusing.
Those who support the bill want the candy to have specific packaging by color and shape to ensure no confusion. The founder of a well-known red rooster sauce is starting to see red. The sriracha factory is fighting with the city where it resides. Several residents complained that the fumes from the chilies were causing headaches and burning eyes. Lawmakers issued a preliminary injunction that prohibits the hot sauce factory from any operations that produce odor and inflict discomforting symptoms. The plant plans to have carbon filters installed by June. We have new information on a missing Malaysian airliner. Search crews picked up an underwater signal they hope is a flight recorder. They're zeroing in on a targeted patch of the Indian Ocean. The Australian Navy is dropping markers in the area to detect pingers. Finding the flight data and cockpit voice recorders is urgent as the beacon battery life lasts only about a month. Tuesday marks 1 month since the plane vanished with 238 passengers on board. And it's been 50 years since the president signed the Civil Rights Act. Today, President Obama celebrated the anniversary. Coming up, hear how the president feels about race relations in this country since the signing of the bill. The Denver Auto Show is parked at the Colorado Convention Center. Up next, we'll take you inside to see the new Mustang and more. You know Stephen Colbert as the Emmy Award-winning host on Comedy Central. Soon he'll take on a new role with CBS. We'll tell you about it a little later in the newscast.